Gustavo starts with double Rockruff and a Slugma, but no Zorua. And I think he passed. So now Jimmy has an opportunity. Obviously started a Zorua, but this is Jimmy has a
Has he
chance.
passed, or did he just start 3 Pokemon? I think he
Uh,
just started an army
maybe
of
he just
Pokemon.
started 3 Pokemon. So Jimmy has a chance here to
Yeah.
get a
Yeah,
lot of.
this is Jimmy's first turn. People on stream, you not missed anything.
So Jimmy, obviously looking for Lele, grabbing a Lily. He just wants to get more Zorua into play. If he can find like a Rockruff and an Energy, that would be great as well. One of the keys in the matchup between these two, between a Zoroark Mirror, is to just chase down Rockruffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Zoroark doesn't really do anything as long as you can establish your Lycanroc. So that's what Jimmy is going to try and do here. I didn't see what, we obviously didn't see what was in his hand. Got the DNC as well. I think he might be using Lily for 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of interesting pivot points. He grabs the Diancie, so he's the only one that runs the Diancie. And the nice thing about the Diancie is it lets his Lycanroc Claw Slash for 130. I think the only point where that math matters is Gustavo runs a Buzzwole, and he's going to try to find a Sledgehammer turn where he can kill a Zoroark. That 130 is really a huge, the opportunity to use that or the 3 Devoured Fields Jimmy has to kill Buzzwoles. He's going to have to kill that Buzzwole quickly.
We see a Great Ball. It actually hits the Rockruff. That is perfect. And then he follows that up with a Nest Ball for another Zorua. So this is a pretty strong opener for Jimmy. The only way this could be better is if he does have an attach for turn. I didn't see what he drew off the Lily or what else is in there, but that would be, this is already a very strong opener for Jimmy.
I always worry if I'm Gustavo. When you open with that many Pokemon in your hand, you don't have a lot of cards. Like, he's going to need those 4 cards plus the card he draws
Jimmy
to
passes,
really help him advance his board state. He has no Zoroas out.
No energy attachment. He Guzmas right away, pulls up the DNC, and passes. So I imagine that his hand is garbage. The last time we saw Gustavo Wada on stream, it was kind of the same thing. Maybe being streamed is just his kryptonite with these Zoroark decks. But Jimmy, what he needs to find now is a Guzma to get this thing out of there and start attacking with something if he finds Zoroarks.
Yeah, Gustavo smartly attaches the energy to the Rockruff in the active. That way, if Jimmy plays Guzma, the Rockruff's not a target.
He has Mallow. Also keeping this, if Gustavo doesn't have a Lycanroc and another energy, keeping the DNC in the active spot for a turn doesn't really matter. If he'd rather set himself up with the Mallow, but I think I see an energy in Gustavo's hand, but I don't know what else is in there. So if I'm Jimmy, I probably...
Interestingly, if Gustavo has like a Lycanroc and a DCE, he can start pounding away next turn if Jimmy's just stalled out here.
Jimmy has at least 1 Zoroark in his hand, so I can't see what he's eyeing here. I think that's a... I can't see.
Yeah. It looked like a fighting energy he grabbed. He checks again, but he refused to show the camera. What a monster. I want to say I called the Gustavo's got a dead hand. He has too many Pokemon. Army of Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean maybe he had an Ultra Ball, and then he could have grabbed a Lily or a Lele for a Lily for like 8. So
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's got outs, but unfortunately he just starts out with not a lot going on.
We'll see what Jimmy draws here. He tries away a Choice Band for a Fighting Energy and maybe another Zoroark. Maybe he had both. This card's a Kukui. Being pretty coy about these cards. And he pulls up the Slugma. So, he wants to now kind of stall Gustavo. And he passes. Gustavo plays a
I think he wants to be able to Guzma target that Rockruff next turn.
That's a heads. And a heads. So he'll grab 2 Lycanroc.
He's going to grab a Macargo and a Lycanroc, I assume.
If it's in there.
Yeah.
It is, okay.
Yeah, because he's going to want to smooth over into a better supporter for next turn.
Probably. And he's eyeing the Zoroark, actually. I assume he meant the Lycanroc.
Is that what I want? Yeah, that's
That.
madness.
And he Apricorn Makers as well. Oh, so that's maybe why he was considering the Zoroark, because he's going to grab double Nest Ball, but I think he so doesn't take the Zork, attaches another fight. And this is good. He's spreading his energy around.
Yeah, well, he knows that Rockruff with the energy was the target that Jimmy was trying to tee up. So he says, no, now I'm going to have 2 Rockruffs with an energy.
I think I saw Zork in his that he put on top. You know, he's probably assuming that this Macargo will be knocked out, but Jimmy's kind of in a situation where he only has one Lycanroc, and so he can knock out one of the Rockruffs, but then Gustavo can retaliate with a Dangerous Rogue and knock him out. So I'm not sure what Jimmy is going to do, how he wants to handle this sort of this next turn.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy knows Gustavo's holding that Lycanroc.
So he fails the Great Ball here. He traded once. So he trades twice, trades a Judge. He, of course, runs 4 copies of Judge versus Gustavo's 1 Judge.
All 4 in the discard.
Well, I guess Gustavo is the only one who will control, you know, hand disruption. He pulls up the Rockruff and he knocks it out. And so now Gustavo only has that Rockruff, but he does have the Lycanroc and an energy, so he can Dangerous Rogue and knock out this Lycanroc. Oh, he actually put a Lele on top. I'll grab him a fresh 6 with Lily. And he also puts another card on top with the Smooth Ever, probably a Zoroark.
Yeah,
if I
it
had
looks like
to
he
guess.
grabbed a Zoroark.
Draws.
He says, I'm going to take that card and 5 more.
That might be... He actually takes a Timer Ball.
Oh, he's going for the double Zoroark.
But he drew a Zoroark anyway, so this is still very good. I think he has a Nest Ball in his hand as well, so we can get another Rockruff into play. Does that. So the thing with this Lycanroc here, also for Gustavo, is it's going to Dangerous Rogue this Lycanroc. And then he can either use a Lycanroc on the next turn to knock out a Rockruff that Jimmy puts down, or just kill another Zoroark and take 4 prizes with 1 Lycanroc. It's double heads, easy money. Gustavo takes...
I'm not going to lie, when he smoothed over for the Timer Ball, I thought that's just a little greedy, but then he hits double heads.
He probably wouldn't have put the Timer Ball if he didn't think he'd get double heads. So some big brain plays here from Gustavo.
It's time to high roll. It's around 14.
So now this is, you know, he didn't get his he got his Zoroarks down, his Zorua at least a turn later than Jimmy. But you see here, his board state is significantly better than Jimmy's. He has a fully powered Lycanroc, and then the next turn he can attach to that Rockruff and get another Lycanroc, and honestly potentially just sweep the game with these 2 Lycanrocs.
Yeah, I mean the double energy Rockruffs in the first 2 turns teed him up for success. Jimmy just has no response.
Yeah, and if Gustavo puts down another Rockruff, or Jimmy puts down another Rockruff, Gustavo can chase that, go to 3, and the Diancie is there to go back up on even prizes if he wanted to do that.
He's just going to look for the DC and chip with Lele this turn?
Not a bad option. Lele can't be knocked out by a Lycanroc, so he'll need to find Guzma or something else, but he did Timer Ball for the second Lycanroc, so I'm not sure he's too worried about it. Jimmy's got a... With no Judge, too, you know, Jimmy... I'm not sure how he's going to fight his way out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Lycanroc in hand, so another Zoroark's going down, right? The Zoroark with the DC, it will be killed next turn by this Lycanroc in the active.
What he needs to do is just hope he can find a way some point in this game to set up another Lycanroc, you know, Dangerous Rogue, and then a Claw Swipe of his own. But he multi-switches the energy up to the active Lele. So...
Going to put one of the judges back, so he's got a little bit of...
He's actually opting for both judges.
Yeah, double judges.
He needs a couple turns of whiffs from Gustavo with those judges.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if he has Acerola in hand for next turn.
Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, he runs one Acerola. I recognize, although Lycanrock's going to come down and one-shot the Zoroark, so it's not like the Tapu Lele is going to be up.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah, he's just going to go right to 2 prizes.
I don't think Gustavo's going to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's not interested in chipping Lele. He just wants to target down Zoroarks and win.
He has a lot of Zoroark here, but he's Ultra Balling for a Rockruff. He'll just hit this Lycanroc here. I don't know if he has. He does have a fighting energy as well, so he's kind of threatening it. Maybe it's a ploy to save the Lele, because that'll be what he needs to carry him through this game. If he can just build a big Lele, like maybe get another double on there, he can start pushing to knock out clean Lycanroc when it does come up. Because Gustavo still has the smooth over, so he can anticipate any sort of play that Jimmy has.
So if you're Gustavo, do you Lycanroc the Rockruff now, or do you just kill a Zoroark?
I don't think you actually is opting to kill the Rockruff with a Zoroark.
Target down the Rockruff.
It's all about controlling the Lycanrocs. Gustavo also runs a copy of Multi-Switch himself, so on the next turn he could, he has the ability to Guzma, Multi-Switch, attach a fighting, knock out something with that clean Lycanroc.
Right. He just took all the damage Jimmy put out off the board. So he's denying prizes, keeping the Lycanroc out of play.
Jimmy has access to 3 trades to Gustavo's 2, but Jimmy doesn't. Gustavo has, a lot more offensive options. There's another Rockruff coming down with the energy. Any judges?
I think this is a situation where you kind of see how the deck is like lost those key puzzle of time pieces since the rotation. Man, Jimmy would love the ability to have the flexibility to make more multi-switch plays again in a mirror match like this. But instead, so much of their decks are teched out to play against Shrine decks, right? They're running all these Devoured Field Stadiums where that math just doesn't matter in these matchups.
So Gustavo, because he has the smooth over, he has a lot of options. Almost certainly will be able to deal with this this Rockruff on the bench, and he'll hit this Zoroark for 1. So Gustavo probably going to trade once here, just to see what he gets, and then has the smooth over for the final trade.
He's got the Palpad in hand. He has the option to throw his 1 Acerola. Or actually, Gustavo runs 2 Acerolas, but he could throw the Acerola back in deck, smooth over for the Acerola, and trade into it.
He has a double, so he's probably going to smooth over a Guzma. If I had to guess,
Thinking.
Not sure what he's thinking about doing.
I think he's trying to figure out if he wants to trade.
Oh, he's actually thinking about a Kukui here. Gonna bring himself down to 1 prize. With
Kukui Choice Band, kill the Lele.
Yeah, and so attach an energy to the Lycanroc, and so this way, if Gustavo opts to, take on the Lycanroc, then he has Zoroarks in play, and he can say knock out that Diancie for his final prize.
And he's got the Rockruff in the active to give him the option to pull up a Zoroark and win.
So, Gustavo will take the knockout on the Lele, go down to 1 prize. Jimmy needs to.
Yeah, so Jimmy needs to Dangerous Rogue the Lycanroc on the bench dead, right? The question is, if he has a Guzma, he's just going to Guzma Diancie and win the game.
Right.
On the following turn, but if you're trying to play to your outs, you can't let the Lycanroc just do its thing. You got to rogue it. Yeah, here it comes.
Judges again. He has to hope
Yeah.
that Gustavo doesn't have uh, access to a Guzma
The problem
and
is the
another
Macargo's still
Pokemon.
there, so he's just going to Guzma, smooth over, trade, Guzma, win.
All right. But
But you got to play to your outs. He will need another Pokemon to kill the Diancie there, right?
right.
So there's two pieces to the combo to kill the Diancie with a Zoroark.
Gustavo doesn't even look at his hand.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, we see a timer ball in his hand.
Yeah, he
So
brings
that
the
could
Zoroark
be
up. He's got a timer ball for the Lycanroc. Pull up the
trades,
Diancie.
puts down the, grabs the Lycanroc, pulls up the DNC, and we are going to game 2. We saw it there in that matchup. It's all about controlling with Lycanroc. And, Gustavo, Jimmy, unfortunately, there was that turn where he put down the third Zorua and didn't get another Rockruff down. And that whole game, Gustavo just had control with his Lycanroc, using that Acerola to get, I think, a third. The ability name is escaping me. I want to say Bright Look, the name of Luxray, GL level X, Pokepower.
Michael's just old school.
I think it's Bloodthirsty Eyes is the name of it. I always call it Bright Look, but
You know what's interesting is I don't really understand why all the Pokemon that have gust effects on their bench have this like eyes look metaphor. Do you understand? Is there some like Pokemon thing that I'm supposed to know
I think
about?
it's kind of like I see you,
I mean, it's like a dating metaphor thing. You're like,
Yeah, well, I think all the ones with
I'm giving you that look. You better come this way.
that ability are like dogs, or I guess Luxray is like a lion. I think they're like hunters, so maybe
Right.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a baffling question.
Yeah, I don't know. Lycanroc's a very, very strong card. Just being able to have that gust effect and then being able to play like a Judge or a Kukui or whatever it is, just so strong.
Yeah.
We saw it all last season. This season,
Double supporter effects. That's good.
Yeah, would be surprised if this card ever phased out. But very strong. So in this game, Jimmy didn't set up poorly. He got Zorix right away. He actually got Zorix before Gustavo even had Zoruas, but he just could not get more Lycanroc into play. So this game, I think he's going to want to try and prioritize Lycanrocs.
I think when Jimmy looks back on that first turn, he's going to regret getting that DNC early. Right? I mean, it turned out the DNC never really improved the math because he could always kill a Buzzwole with a Devoured Field.
Yep.
But it clogged the bench. It kept him from getting Rockruffs on the board, and he needed more Rockruffs. I mean, this matchup is all about who can build Lycanrocs and run through the board.
Yeah. So, they're getting set up here, so we'll be going over there soon. But, the thing with the DNC, too, is Jimmy runs Devoured Field, so he has an out to knocking out the Baby Buzz if he needs. So, we are heading over there. Jimmy is going to be starting again in game 2.
Let's watch some Pokemon.
Starts Gustavo has Slugma again. Jimmy starts a Rockruff. That's perfect.
What is up with Gustavo's prizes? This sideways tilt is, I don't know if it's delightfully unconventional or if it's just unconventional.
I don't really know. Maybe he draws him like a side loader.
I think it's interesting how there are so many different conventions, right? And I know when you see the like mats and stuff, it's like they have the very spaced out. It's like the prize cam, right? 2, 2, 2 all the way down. I'm a 3, 3 guy. I like to keep it tight and compact and in the upper corner. That way I got room for my bench. When people really spread it out like that, I don't understand how they can manage their bench.
So Jimmy Ultra Balls for a Zorua. That leads me to believe he has some sort of supporter in his hand or a Lele in his hand to get one. If he's got a Lily to open here, that's really good. If he has an energy as well, like a fighting energy for this Rockruff, that's even better. He has a double.
Yeah, we see a DC in his hand.
So he'll attach that to the Zorua and plays a Lily for 5.
Yeah.
So Nest Balls at the top. So he'll get another Zorua probably. And this attachment to the Zoroark means he probably wants to have a Guzma next turn with his Zoroark to knock out a Rockruff, or really wherever the energy goes that Gustavo plays.
Yeah, I think playing this mirror is interesting because the goal in this strategy is you want to get out a couple of Zoroas early because the Zoroarks are your draw engine, and yet the Zoroarks are horribly weak to Lycanrocs. So if you're the first person to get a Lycanroc out, you have a huge advantage.
So he has an Ultra Ball we see as well, so he can get a basic the next turn if he wants or not. But he just passes, probably saving that for Lele or something. Gustavo has a Beast Energy in his hand, and he's playing Nest Ball. Forgets to pick up the other half of his deck or something, I guess. He's eyeing that Buzzwole, so maybe that leads me to believe that he is gonna try and use a Guzma play and knock out that Zero with the double. But he's choosing between all the basics now.
He's like, I don't know what I should do.
So he goes for a Rockruff right away.
Yeah, I mean, that probably means he has a fighting energy in hand. He was like, do I want to attach to the Buzzwole and try the Guzma play, or do I want to just attach to the Rockruff?
He actually attaches and passes. Again, Gustavo just cannot catch a break with these opening hands. Jimmy has the knockout on this Rockruff because he does have the Ultra Ball for a Lele for Guzma. Trades once. Really all he wants is an energy. If he can get an energy to attach to Rockruff, this hand, or this opener is about as good as you like.
Gustavo looks at that judge Jimmy discarded on the Ultra Ball and says, why couldn't you judge me, man?
He's got a second Zoroark as well. And he brings up the... Oh, geez, he's got multi-switch and the attach.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is big.
This is a combo.
And he plays a Lily to just draw more cards. Still has that Ultra Ball as well. But this is... so he trades again. And he'll play a Nest Ball, probably grabbing another Rockruff, if I had to guess. Just wants to maintain control. He is going to do to Gustavo what Gustavo did to him last game. If Gustavo even has a chance to play this game.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, this is looking like this is not going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on to a quick game 3. I assume Gustavo's going to look at his top deck and decide whether or not he likes playing this game anymore.
Draws, and he'll instantly concede. Slugma not going to do enough.
That card was not good enough. On to the next game.
So that was a very convincing win for Jimmy. Going first and having an attachment on the first turn.
Yeah, it looked like he top decked a timer ball and said, wow, I could get him a cargo and I could smooth over a great card for next turn and be benched out.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, we saw there going first and getting an energy in the Zoroark mirror is just so good. It puts you so far ahead. Jimmy obviously only runs one multi-switch, so it was, pretty fortunate of him to get it there. But even if he didn't, he had Ultra Ball for Lele to still knock out that Rockruff. So, that was a very dominant win from Jimmy. He's going to want to try and do that again. Gustavo, I think in Game 3 would, probably like to actually start with a playable hand. Hasn't really had the ability to do that yet.
But it seems you're just asking for so much. A playable hand.
Yeah, I mean... It's pretty crazy.
I definitely feel like, what's interesting is we haven't seen a wave of great balls come down, but I do feel like Jimmy is set up early more consistently.
Yep.
And that's so much of this matchup. And the fact that, notwithstanding that, Gustavo was able to win game 1, when you think about what is the model that's going to facilitate, the Zoroark decks of this format in the future, you distinctly get the impression that this kind of heavy great balls, heavy Lily count is a slightly more efficient way to set up based on what we've seen here head to head.
We're setting up for game 3 here. As Jimmy just respects, Jimmy realizes drawing is much better than searching with Apricorn Maker. So starts Diancie, Gustavo starts Lele, and plays an Apricorn Maker. So not a bad opener.
Yeah, this is the opener that he wants, right?
Yeah.
He's like, open Apricorn, open Zoroa. He's going to get another Zoroa and a Rockruff.
Play a Nest Ball for a...
he's getting the 2 Nest Balls for his Apricorn.
Slugma and Rockruff. So
all right.
He is just... he figures he doesn't need a bunch of Zoroark right now. He wants to be able to hit... he would need a very specific combination of cards in the next turn to pull this off. I think he actually has Zoroark, Macargo, and Guzma in his hand. If I saw that correctly. Well, obviously next turn, but
right.
We'll see what Jimmy does. Jimmy, obviously, multiple, any basics he can find.
Yeah. Well, we talked last game about how Jimmy doesn't want that DNC on the board in this game. So I'm sure he was disappointed to start the DNC. So, well, I guess it is going to be with me.
So he'll level ball, or nest ball, sorry. He is looking for multiple Zorua, multiple Rockruff if he can find. Takes a Rockruff here. So because he Ultra Balled for the Rockruff, he's probably got a supporter. He opts to Judge. Oh, that's actually very big.
Jimmy, we thought Gustavo had everything in his hand.
Because Gustavo took those specific Pokemon.
Gustavo's telling him I had the Macargo and the Zoroark.
So I was right. He did have them. So, fortunate for Jimmy to have the Judge, but, Gustavo kind of just telegraphed exactly what he had by taking those specific basics. So, after this, Jimmy would like another basic if he can find, and then some sort of supporter play for next turn.
Yeah, he would definitely like a Zoroark, maybe a fighting. You'd love to get that energy on the Rockruff so everyone knows you're just one energy and a Lycanroc away from dangerous roguing.
Yeah, definitely. Draws. Deck is upside down. Draw his 4. Cannot see what that is. But a Great Ball. Great Ball very good in the early game. Because it's so early, Great Ball has a big chance of acting as another Nest Ball, which it does right here. In the early game, Great Ball acts as a Nest Ball, where it has the potential to do that with your basics in your deck. And then later in the game, it kind of acts as a Timer Ball because you just have evolutions in the deck. So,
right.
Honestly, at first glance, it seems pretty, wild.
It's a RNG card. And people don't like paying kind of flippy cards, right? There's an element of like, we're just going to YOLO and look in these cards, see what we want.
So he gets a Rockruff with a Fighting Energy. Gustavo responds with an Ultra Ball and another Zorua. He's got a Zoroark, so he opts to take the Zoroark here, and he's Cynthia. So he's got good draws to respond to this.
Yeah.
Jimmy's hand is pretty low as well, so honestly, if I'm Gustavo, what I want here, Macargo, that would be nice, and then probably another Rockruff. If I can get an energy down somewhere, that would be good too. Jimmy has 2 cards in hand, so it would need to be 2 perfect cards to respond to like a Lycanroc.
He's got a Timer Ball.
Can't see what that was. My guess is it was 2 Tails.
2 Tails. Yuck.
So
that is rough.
He's got another Zoroark anyway. Maybe he's just trying to pull the Lycanroc out. Trades the Palpad. He has a Fighting Energy to attach. Jimmy is wondering. I believe he just put the Zorua down before he evolved. And
and he traded on it.
And I think. Well, no, I think that was his first trade.
No, because he traded the Kukui.
Oh, you might be right, yeah. Oh.
That was the second trade. So
this is huge.
We're going to hold up for a second.
While they figure out what's happening here.
I think they're going to pick 2 cards and put them back.
Yeah. Both of these players, very high level. It's, mistakes like this are unfortunate. It is Pokemon. Sometimes it does happen in some high-pressure situations. They both understand the mistake Gustavo made. So,
yeah.
But getting back to the game, I mean, Gustavo, really what he wants here is another Rockruff. I think I did see a Fighting Energy in his hand. I'm not sure if he got that off the second trade. I don't think so.
Yeah, I felt like he had a DC and a Fighting Energy previously, but they're going to pick 2 random cards and put them back in.
So he wants to put that energy on the Rockruff. Like I said earlier, Jimmy has 2 cards in hand. So Jimmy could theoretically respond if his 2 cards in hand are Lycanroc and an energy and a double, and he top decks a Guzma, or there's some combination of those 3 cards in his hand in the top deck. Otherwise, the chances of Jimmy actually knocking something out this turn are very low, and that opens the door for Gustavo um, to kind of take over this game on this next turn if he can. With the way the new prize penalties work, Jimmy doesn't get 2 extra cards here if they assess a prize penalty like that. It's just he has to take, for example, 2 less prizes. So in the past, he might have been able to get some of these cards he could use off of a prize penalty like this if that's what they assess. But now that there's no bailout like that anymore.
Yeah.
So
Now, conversely, I think the reason they instituted those rules was to keep people from doing cheap stuff to take advantage of things like counter energy, which we've seen a lot in this tournament. And um, and in that respect, there's no question this is the right thing to do from a rule perspective. I really like how they made that change. It's definitely for the better.
yeah, they instituted that change last season, and it's been working pretty well up to this point. But yeah, I mean, this is it's unfortunate for Jimmy. He had to judge to not kind of get overwhelmed by Gustavo's hand. That Macargo and the Zork that Gustavo was sitting on. But in doing so, he puts himself at such a low number, and he's at risk of just being punished by his own judge. He has no Zork in play to draw out of it.
Yesterday's motto was every time you judge the other guy, you judge yourself.
So we'll see. The DNC also
the risk equally high.
To retreat. Float stone rotating is has kind of been a small thorn in the side for Zork decks. They always ran at least one float stone that they could use with puzzles, sometimes more. To move Pokemon like a DNC out of the active spot, or move a Zork to preserve energy, or something like that. And now the only switching effect that Jimmy has is the 2 Guzma that he runs. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he would have to manually retreat or use one of those 2 Guzma.
Now, I'll tell you, he runs a Tapu Koko, and theoretically they thought of that as an important card when they were building this deck. I was talking with Azul yesterday, who was running same 60 as Jimmy, and Azul was saying the only card I would cut is the Tapu Koko because I felt like I never needed the free pivot. I always knew what attacker I was going to go up with.
Yeah.
So, they felt like they needed that pivot, and I think they felt like over the course of the tournament that was less important than they expected. But at a moment like this, he's like, God, I'd really like to get that Pokemon out of the active.
Yeah, definitely. Gustavo runs a smaller Lycanroc line, but he runs one more Guzma, so he has a little bit better chance of switching around. The DNC is honestly really the only Pokemon in the entire deck that Jimmy doesn't want to start. Starting everything else is either a Pokemon that evolves into something you want, is a Tapu Koko with free retreat, or is a Lele, which is mobile and can attack if need be. So.
Conversely, obviously, Jimmy's strategy is going to be he wants to pull stuff up from the bench. Like, both of them essentially started walls, and they're happy to sit behind the walls until they're ready to pull something up. And the question is who's going to be ready first, and who's going to be in a position. Like, now the result is they can't just use the Lycanroc to Bloodthirsty Eye something up. They're going to need a Guzma to get the full effect and switch their Pokemon as well.
Yeah, this situation with the prize penalty being assessed, it's always kind of nerve-wracking because you're just sitting there, not really doing anything. I think we're going to get a ruling here shortly. They are just kind of confirming some details of what happened. I think there is 2 rounds left after this one. I believe Jimmy is at 30 match points, and I think Gustavo is at the same. Which means that a win here, they would need 2 wins for sure, or a win and then 2 IDs.
They're putting the Fighting Energy and the Zoroark back in.
Okay, so that's what he drew, and actually this might be the.
I think so. It's unfortunate because I think, as you and I were discussing, I think the Fighting Energy was already in his hand. But they're putting it back in. But the Fighting Energy is what he wanted. He wanted to put that on the Rockruff, I assume. Instead, he says, well, I'm just going to Energy Drive because there's not too much else to do.
So, and actually, I stand corrected. It is round 14. So there's one more round after this one.
Yeah. Now, I think this is, it's hard to imagine, but I think the current thinking is you need 34 points to top 8 here.
Jimmy plays
so they're both at 30. So whoever the winner is here, theoretically ID into cut
Yeah,
next round.
So Jimmy plays a Lele, grabbing a supporter here. He does get that 2-prize penalty. So again, he'll only need to take 4 prizes this game, but he's gonna need to be a little more concerned about getting some sort of setup on his board before he worries about taking those prizes. So
Did he just top deck that Lele?
I'm not sure. I did not see what was in his hand before.
Yeah.
Regardless of if he did or not,
Living that life.
he's going to be drawing at least 4 cards with Lele. He might be able to play some more cards. If I'm Jimmy, it's tough. You want another Rockruff down, preferably even with an energy, so that you can, get ready to attack next turn. But then in doing that, we actually just got confirmation, so it was the double prize card penalty. And Jimmy responds by pulling up the Slugma with his Lycanroc. Hoping
plays his entire hand down for the Lily.
Hoping that Gustavo doesn't have like a multi, because he attached to the Lele. Jimmy he would need like a Guzma and a multi switch to get Lycanroc going this turn. So Jimmy is kind of banking on him not having that 1-of card.
Yeah.
So
this is a perfect situation where he could have benched the Coco and had a free pivot, and he was like, this is useless to me.
Yep.
Cast it aside.
Yep, so he Ultra Balls for another Rockruff here. This is very good. He's got 1 Zoroark down. I didn't see what he traded into, but his setup here has really turned around. That Lele was really good for him. Drew a lot. And he does have another Rockruff and a Fighting Energy. So this is actually very good recovery from the judge. And now Gustavo needs to figure out how to respond to this.
Yeah, I mean, what Jimmy needs now, he's got 2 cards left in his hand. He wants a Guzman and a DC next turn, right? He's ready to go.
Now Gustavo trades that Pal Pad.
Gustavo is not ready to go. He needs some more pieces before he really wants to start fighting with this wave of Lycanrocs that's about to come at him.
That's I think 2 Tails.
That is
he
brutal.
Trades again.
He's 0 for 4 on timer balls this game.
I believe
that's no way to win.
Yeah. So he's eyeing a Fighting Energy on the other Rockruff.
I think he's playing into Lily. He's just thinning his hand down. Here we go.
He's going to need a multi-switch to be able to do anything with this energy anyway, because Jimmy's most likely going to chase down that Fighting Energy if he can. So we will see what he has. Doesn't have too many cards in hand, but he has a trade.
Yeah, it's a strategy here to just claw slash that Rockruff if he can find the DC.
If he can't, find a DC in Guzma. This Diancie and this Slugma.
I mean, Jimmy has the perfect setup at this point, right? Two Zoroarks, a Rockruff, and a Lycanroc. Did he find the Guzma? Show us your hand, Jimmy.
I don't think so. I think he would have played these cards if he did.
Looks like he has the DCE.
He has a DCE, so he's kind of spreading his energy around maybe. And he's going to just judge. Gustavo had a pretty big hand.
He whiffed the Guzma.
But, this is still fine. He disrupts Gustavo. Gustavo has 2 trades to bail out of it, but he did have a pretty big hand, so he was probably sitting on a lot. Gustavo, of course, just needs, really a Macargo to kind of bail himself out of this permanently and negate Jimmy's judges going forward.
Yeah, everybody's looking for the Guzma to get the switch effect, but Gustavo's going to need more pieces, right? He's going to need a Lycanroc DCE or Lycanroc multi-switch. If he finds a Macargo, he can get one of those pieces instantly. So he's got a lot of outs.
Jimmy passes.
I mean, once he missed the Guzma, he knew he wasn't going to attack, right?
We'll see the first trade. You always want to do that first. You always want to do as many trades as you can before you play a card like Mallow or use Macargo's ability, just in the off chance that you draw these cards with these trades first, so that way it can change.
We talked about how he needs a 2 or 3 card combo, so if he gets one of the pieces, he'll say, oh, that simplifies the combo I need.
So he has a Lycanroc in his hand. I didn't see what he put down. It might have been a Guzma. My guess is it would be a Guzma, because he can at least attack with a Tapu Lele, if nothing else.
If he has any energy in a multi switch, he can get there, right?
Trades. So he has a DCE and a Lycanroc, and he has the Guzma, and so he is going to start off
Yeah.
with a dangerous rogue on this Lycanroc.
You attach the
Um,
fighting or DCE? He goes
Attach
to
the DCE. Um, he kind of does Jimmy a favor because he gets rid of the Diancie, and so now Jimmy can respond with his own dangerous rogue, um, and uh, and we will get into some pretty intense dogfighting here between between Jimmy and Gustavo.
so, if you're Jimmy, is there any scenario where you would kill the Rockruff instead of the Lycanroc to prevent future bloodthirsty eyes? Or do you just dangerous rogue the Lycanroc and move on?
You would, I think you would dangerous rogue the Lycanroc here. The reason being is because Gustavo would need to use his multi-switch. Well, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see what he mouths for first. There is the ability because Gustavo would need to use it for Guzmas, and then he can dangerous rogue this Lycanroc and get rid of the threat. But in doing that, he opens himself up to at least losing another Zoroark. So I don't know. It's a tough call. We'll see what he values. Taking out the Rockruff might not be terrible. He trades a Zorua, looking for another Rockruff as well. Nestball, I'm
Nestball.
imagining
Yeah.
this is going to be a
Red to a
Rockruff.
Rockruff.
And he probably has the Lycanroc and
This is where it helps him that he's running the much thicker Lycanroc run line, right?
Correct.
The 3-2. Oh, they both run 3-2. Oh, no, he runs
Jimmy
4-3.
runs 4-3.
I'm sorry,
So,
you're right. So he's got. He checked to make sure the other Lycanrocs were in deck.
So he does not use Bloodthirsty Eyes. So maybe he
He just mallows into it in dangerous rogues.
knocks it out. So, but the thing is here is it actually doesn't matter because he only has to take those 2 prizes because of the penalty. He has the ability to knock out this Lele because he can Bloodthirsty Eyes up the Lele and then play a Kukui and knock it out with the Zoroark to win this match. So we will see what Gustavo does. Because he pushes up the Lele, I'm not sure. Now maybe Gustavo wants to. Looks like a Kukui that he took.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is he has no way to kill this Lycanroc, right?
Right.
And the problem is there's a lot of outs for Jimmy to be able to take 2 prizes next turn.
Trade. What did he trade into? Was that Kukui? I think it was. A stretcher for Baby Buzz. Oh, this is interesting.
Going for the Sledgehammer turn.
Gonna take out that Zoroark, I think.
Put a 1 prize attacker up and tell Jimmy you gotta find a Guzma.
Oh, he's actually gonna just take out this Lycanroc with.
Kukuis. Is he gonna get there?
Yeah, that'll do exactly 200.
Oh my god, the beast energy.
120 base plus 60 from Choice Band and Beast Energy is 180, and then the Kukui will push him to 200. And these kind of combos are made possible by the Macargo, but Jimmy now, if he can find that Lycanroc and Kukui play of his own, he can target the Lele and win this game. And even if he doesn't, he will be able to knock out this Baby Buzz thanks to Devoured Field. So
yeah, he has to bench 1 Pokemon. That's an easy thing to do. But it's critical to take a KO this turn and get off the Sledgehammer turn.
So he's trading once. He's eyeing another card here. I don't think he has it yet because he hasn't played these cards down just yet. But Ultra Balling, probably gonna grab Lycanroc. Grabs a Lele for Kukui, so I think he does have it here. Ultra Balls for the next Lycanroc. He'll Bright Look up the Lele, and Gustavo understands what's happening. And that is the game, and that was made possible by that 2 prize penalty that Gustavo incurred from drawing with trade on a Zorua that he had just evolved. So that was a good game. Jimmy was able